From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
It was an act of pure evil.
Just a day after a deadly mass shooting, the investigation is underway as police try to figure out why the suspect opened fire.
Plus, Arizonans caught in the gunfire. A fun-filled night of music turns into a scene of terror. How several Arizona law enforcement officers were hurt.
And meaningful change as Phoenix prepares to host its own major music festival. What are the steps to keeping a tragedy from unfolding here?
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Sydney Eisenberg.
And I'm Victoria Mendoza. Thank you for joining us. As we mourn those killed in the Las Vegas mass shooting, we're hearing stories from those with Arizona connections who were there. Families on vacation, first responders who took action. And we're looking ahead to our own outdoor concert and what security measures are being taken. Here's the latest on the investigation. In a new update, 59 people are now reported dead and 527 are injured in the largest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. It happened at the Route 91 Harvest Festival late last night. Police say the gunman had at least 17 guns in his hotel room and has ties to Arizona. Governor Doug Ducey ordered all flags to fly at half-staff to honor the lives lost. Tonight, we have Cronkite News team coverage. We'll look at security for a big outdoor music fest coming up in Phoenix, and we're talking to Arizonans in Las Vegas. But we begin with Tyler Paley with details on how several Arizona law enforcement agencies had officers caught in the shooting.
Victoria, tonight, off-duty Arizona police officers who attended the Route 91 Music Festival in Las Vegas on Sunday are returning home. Some of them are recovering from minor injuries sustained when a gunman opened fire from the Mandalay Bay Hotel onto the crowd. But for Arizona DPS Director Frank Milstead, he's just happy to report his people are safe.
The worst part of being the leader of any organization is the sleepless nights of making sure your people are going to get to go home and be okay.
Two Arizona Department of Public Safety employees were off duty when they attended the Jason Aldean concert near the Las Vegas Strip on Sunday. While DPS wouldn't release their names, both were injured when a gunman opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. One was a trooper, the other was a crime lab tech. Neither one suffered a gunshot wound, but both sustained minor injuries.
We have since learned that it was not actual bullets that struck him intact, but it was shrapnel from either ricochets or things coming off the ground, and he took some rounds to his arm, to his backside.
A DPS sergeant was also in Las Vegas last night, away from the concert. But when he heard about the shooting, Colonel Milstead said he went to help.
He responded to the shots fired and ended up assisting at the scene and also became a liaison for the Arizona Department of Public Safety, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, and our two employees that were injured.
The Mesa Police Department says 5 of its employees were also present during the shooting, and one suffered a minor injury, but the department is in touch with all 5 of them. The FBI Phoenix Division is also assisting the Las Vegas FBI field office on the investigation. Special Agent in Charge Michael De Leon said in a statement to Cronkite News, quote, "While there is no specific or credible threat to Arizona at this time, we continue to work with our law enforcement partners to gather, share, and act upon threat information as it comes to our attention." And for Milstead, he's making a call to the public.
If you have people that you know, or you have a crazy friend that's going to do crazy things, you're not being loyal by not coming forward and telling authorities.
Also tonight, the FBI has confirmed to Cronkite News that Benjamin Hoskins Paddock, the father of suspected shooter Stephen Paddock, was added to the 10 most wanted fugitive list in June of 1969 after escaping from prison 6 months earlier. He was serving a prison sentence for robbing a bank in Tucson. For now, we're live in the media center. Tyler Paley, Cronkite News.
Former U.S. Representative Gabby Giffords, who was severely injured in a mass shooting in Tucson, is calling again for gun reform in Washington, D.C. Cronkite News reporter Fraser Allen Best was there for the news conference.
The nation's counting on you. Thank you.
Raising her fist in the air, words were brief but powerful from former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Giffords was herself the victim of a shooting in 2011 outside a Safeway store in Tucson that left 6 others dead.
Days like today remind us and many others how quickly things can change.
But the statements were not confined to expressions of condolences. Giffords' husband, Mark Kelly, focused on specific policy changes, including a call for universal background checks. More specifically, he pointed to the White House.
We need a president who recognizes that we have a gun violence problem.
President Trump did call for a moment of silence today for victims and their families. Earlier this morning, he addressed the tragedy.
We pray for the day when evil is banished and the innocent are safe from hatred and from fear.
Finally, Kelly stressed the cost of inaction.
We can accept that folks like Gabby will just have to pay the price for the status quo.
Giffords and Kelly run a foundation, Americans for Responsible Solutions, a nonprofit and a super PAC that calls for better gun control laws. Fraser Allen Best, Cronkite News, Washington.
Witnesses of the Vegas massacre are sharing their stories. Cronkite News reporter Nicole Gutierrez spoke to one Arizonan who saw the chaos develop right outside her hotel.
As a number of injured people rise from last night's shooting in Vegas, witnesses are sharing what they saw as help was on the way. This morning, I spoke to Leslie Santoyo, who is an Arizona native, and described what she witnessed last night. Leslie Santoyo and her family were staying at the Ellis Island Hotel. That's approximately 3 miles away from the Mandalay Bay Casino. Last night, Santoyo and her family were walking back to their hotel and saw crowds and chaos.
But there was people running through the street. They were on the phone. There was like people crying.
At that moment, the family were oblivious of what was unfolding a couple blocks down.
We headed to our hotel, the security. He took us through the back side through an open door. He's like, go in your room, don't come out. We don't know if it's safe yet. Just stay there until further notice.
It wasn't until the family was in their room and turned on their TV that realized a mass shooting was developing.
Didn't really know what was going on until we came to our hotel and actually turned on the news, and there was a whole bunch of police cars outside and ambulances passing by.
What had been a fun short getaway for the family turned into a traumatic experience.
Like, you hear what's going on like in Paris, New York and stuff, and then to see it and hear it happen where you wouldn't expect it, where you were just enjoying like a quick family vacation and turned into like complete chaos. It was really unexpected.
Leslie Santoyo mentioned that she and her family were at the Mandalay Bay Casino around 4 p.m. yesterday. The family is glad they didn't go later that evening as they had originally planned. The Santoyo family will be headed back to Arizona later today. In the broadcast center, Nicole Gutierrez, Cronkite News.
Venue safety is top priority at many events, but what happens when the threat isn't at the venue? That's what happened last night in Las Vegas, so we're talking to security experts. Cronkite News reporter Madison Connor is live at Steele Indian School Park, where Lost Lake Music Festival is set to kick off later this month.
We are only 3 weeks out from Lost Lake Festival, and with last night's incident in Las Vegas, security is likely to increase. But how can you be prepared for the unexpected?
But in Vegas, they take safety and security as seriously as anybody because that's the lifeblood of that city. And they do a really good job. But you can't prevent everything.
With last night's shooting in Las Vegas, many will look for answers.
What's the lesson there for the Lost Lake Festival or really for any other event that we might have here in the Valley? Will you simply close down every adjacent building? I mean, there could be somebody looking out one of those windows at us right now.
Lost Lake's event company Superfly released this statement. Our hearts go out to those impacted by the tragedy in Las Vegas. At all of our events and Lost Lake Festival taking place later this month, the safety of our patrons, staff, volunteers, and artists is our highest priority. We will continue to work closely with Phoenix law enforcement officials to assess our safest and security protocols to ensure we host the safest event possible.
They will have an excellent plan. this incident will cause them to review it because they're conscientious.
But no one can prepare for every scenario.
As for the ability of the organizers here in Phoenix to predict the next thing that's never happened before, I don't think they'll be any better equipped than the people who operate Mandalay Bay.
When incidents like last night happen, security measures rise. But as time passes, so do the protective measures.
People say, oh, you're taking too long to get me through the line, or this is inconvenient, or this is an infringement upon my rights and liberties. And then we pull back from these security parameters again until the next thing happens.
Lost Lake Festival will be held right here at Steele Indian School Park, and guests will be checked before entering the venue. In Phoenix, Madison Connor, Cronkite News.
During last night's shooting, concert goers suddenly became first responders. If faced with a similar circumstance, would you know how to help a trauma victim? A national campaign, Stop the Bleed, was created to teach bystanders how to give medical aid until professionals arrive. Dr. Sydney Vale from the Maricopa Medical Center works to teach the public how to use emergency kits in times of trauma. The small kits carry combat gauze, gloves, and tourniquets to prevent blood loss from trauma victims.
So when it comes to bleeding, time is of the essence. So the longer the time, the worse. The longer the bleeding, the worse. Blood is life. So you want to shorten the time and stop that bleeding as soon as possible.
The medical packs are small enough to fit in a purse or on a belt. The campaign provides courses on how to use the gauze and tourniquets to stop a wound from bleeding that could ultimately save a life.
Many people from across the valley are wondering how they might be able to help those affected by the shooting. Dozens decided to give blood. Reporter Tim Johns was at a local blood drive this morning that was booked with appointments.
The American Red Cross already had this blood drive in this Lowe's parking lot in North Phoenix scheduled, but last night's shooting in Las Vegas turned it into something far more serious for people like Adam Kozma.
I was on my way home from work and saw the bus, decided I'd stop in, try and help people.
And Kozma wasn't alone. Since the events in Las Vegas yesterday, the outpouring by people has been so strong that the Red Cross has actually begun turning people away. Despite being hundreds of miles away from the incident, people feel personally touched by yesterday's shooting. Some, like Haley Finn, even called more than 40 times to try and find a location where she could donate.
Last year I was actually in Orlando when the Pulse shooting happened, and I couldn't donate because I was sick, and I feel like now I need to do it.
And for Kozma, that sense of community at times like these is what's the most important.
Anytime that we can all come together as an organization or a community to give back, whether it be giving blood or donating to the Red Cross or any other method like that, I think is definitely beneficial.
One way to help in the wake of tragedy. In Phoenix, Tim Johns, Cronkite News.
In addition to the American Red Cross, United Blood Services has opened up 4 donation centers around the valley today to allow people to give blood for those in Las Vegas. Depend on Cronkite News for continuing coverage on the impact of this tragedy. You can join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter and get our full multimedia coverage at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Service members give up a lot to serve our country overseas.
But when they get back, it can be hard to find a job. Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll show you how some Arizonans are trying to make searching for a job a little bit easier.
Plus, just when you thought the case was over, the Supreme Court had their say on Joe Arpaio's case.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Heaving one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court denied former Sheriff Joe Arpaio's request for a jury trial. This was part of the same criminal contempt case that ultimately ended with a pardon from President Donald Trump. Arpaio had tried to get a jury trial earlier this year, long before a judge found him guilty of disobeying a court order. An Arpaio attorney says it would have been difficult for the Supreme Court to take up the case at this point.
The deadline for DACA recipients to renew their applications is this Thursday, and advocates are offering guidance and financial assistance to those in need. It's been nearly a month since President Trump rescinded the program that protects immigrants brought here as children from deportation. Promise Arizona says scholarships are still available to cover the nearly $500 renewal fee, but that applications need to be overnighted no later than tomorrow.
While members of the U.S. Armed Forces may earn high-ranking positions in the military, it's not always easy for them to get a job when they leave the service. Cronkite News reporter Bridget Dowd tells us what Arizona veterans are doing to change that.
We hold ourselves to the highest standards, and we're going to hold our employees here today to the highest standards.
Push-ups, marches, and calculated movements are just a few activities that U.S. soldiers experience on a daily basis. But these aren't soldiers. These are just everyday citizens getting a glimpse of a day in the life of our men and women in uniform. Wanda Wright is the director of the Arizona Department of Veterans Services. She says even as a senior executive in the military, she had trouble finding work after her service.
It is really, I think, important for employers to really understand what those military minds were like, and that now that they're veterans, to have a little empathy and compassion when they're sitting in front of them.
It's called military immersion training, and it introduces participants to drill and ceremony, or D&C. First Sergeant Chris Llewellyn says veterans learn discipline and other skills that are transferable in the workforce, and he hopes to get that message across to others.
So we're trying to show them a little bit of rank structure, how to do marching movements, facing movements, how to march and sing cadence at the same time, which gets a little bit complicated. We are looking to instill that pride in them, and their pride in themselves and pride in the country, and to see and hold them to the standard that we hold here in the Arizona National Guard in the highest tradition.
Representatives from more than 60 companies were at the training. In Phoenix, Bridget Dowd, Cronkite News.
The Arizona Coalition for Military Families hosts several of these immersion trainings in hopes of bridging the gap between the military and civilian community.
Almost 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria, the Caribbean is still in crisis.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we get the latest from Puerto Rico and one Arizonan's tale of survival.
It is 84 degrees right now in Phoenix with mostly sunny skies. Now, are we going to be seeing that fall weather coming our way anytime this week? We'll talk more about that next.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19th at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Vice President Mike Pence is heading to Phoenix tomorrow for a quick 24-hour trip to tout the administration's tax overhaul plan and attend a political reception. The roundtable event will include seats for Governor Doug Ducey and local business and community leaders to discuss the need for tax reform. The tax cut proposal unveiled last week would cut corporate tax rates and double the individual income tax exemption. The plan also eliminates the estate tax and contains other cuts that mainly benefit the wealthy.
While Pence is visiting Arizona, President Trump is headed to Puerto Rico tomorrow with plans to visit with first responders and victims of Hurricane Maria. Over the weekend, New Yorkers collected supplies to send to Puerto Rico for hurricane relief, including water, food, and toiletries. With the Bronx being home to many Puerto Ricans, it's no surprise that so many came to lend a hand, which is exactly what is needed as Puerto Ricans are still facing adverse conditions. Officials say only 5% of the island has electricity and less than half has clean drinking water.
One of the hurricane survivors is an Arizonan who was vacationing on the island. She's now helping victims still there by coordinating donations here. Cronkite News reporter Tessa Latifi brings us her story of survival and giving back.
The wind and the rain and the wind just banging against the building and not knowing what was going on.
11 days after Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico, Lilian Ortiz is still reliving that fateful day. The Valley resident of Puerto Rican descent happened to be vacationing on the island with her boyfriend when the storm hit. They were left completely cut off from the rest of the world.
But I think the worst was not being able to communicate, not knowing or letting your family know that you were okay.
Over the weekend, she was one of dozens of volunteers who gathered in this warehouse collecting supplies for the victims in Puerto Rico.
Everything that you see here has been donated, from the warehouse space to the supplies, and even the pizza that the volunteers had for lunch.
Congressman Raul Grijalva says President Trump has not done enough to help the victims in Puerto Rico.
And the Puerto Rican community here has responded with great strength and without any fanfare. Let's compare that to what is going on with this administration. We're going on 10 days.
Zulema Rodriguez, one of the organizers of the donation drive, has a message for President Trump.
Don't go to my island to just tour it. Go there if you mean it. Don't go there just to say you went. We don't want you unless you're going to actually do something.
However, the president did say he'll be in Puerto Rico on Tuesday, assisting and supporting the people in their time of need. After surviving the hurricane, Ortiz says one thing is clear to her.
How precious life is, how we're spoiled. We're spoiled. You know, electricity, water, modern technology. You take a lot of things for granted. So I think it's more appreciating now what we have.
For Tessa Latifi, Cronkite News.
We had a little warmth across Arizona this past weekend.
But will the first week of October feel a little more like fall? Christiana Fadul is tracking the forecast.
We sure are seeing those warm temps. Right now in Phoenix, it is 84 degrees with a mostly sunny sky and a humidity of 19%. However, as we move into the rest of the valley, we are going to see those warm temperatures in the central and lower parts of Arizona, but the cooler temperatures as we head up north. So in the Grand Canyon, it's 65 degrees. In Lake Havasu, warmer at 86, and then down in Tucson, pretty warm with 92 degrees. Now we move in closer to the valley here at home, and it is pretty warm with 89 in Scottsdale, 91 in Maricopa, 90 in Coolidge, but over the next couple of hours, we are going to be cooling down just a bit by just a few degrees around the valley. Now moving into our 3-day, we are not going to be seeing those fall temperatures. All the way to Thursday, it'll be 100 degrees with a low of 73, and then as we move in throughout the rest of the week, it'll be 95 on Monday with a low of 68. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Christiana Fadul.
It's an off year for congressional elections.
But a different type of partisan battle is wrapping up this week. Coming up on Cronkite News, we'll take you to meet Representative Martha McSally's dog, Boomer, currently in the running for cutest pet on Capitol Hill.
I'm Bill Moyers. I've been around a long time and I've seen it all. So I can say with a certain authority that public affairs reporting is more important now than ever. It's absolutely crucial for journalism education to continue our legacy of protecting American democracy. Objectivity, fairness, holding the powerful accountable, finding the truth as well as we can. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Students here are transforming the news industry and honoring the integrity of the school's namesake, the Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Tonight, we're hoping to end on a lighter note from the nation's capital. Trevor Fay reports on a battle of pause over politics.
His is a classic rags to riches story. Born in tough conditions, now he's on Capitol Hill where he's running in an election. But this is not your ordinary politician. Meet Boomer, Arizona Congresswoman Martha McSally's golden retriever. McSally put him in the running for cutest pet on Capitol Hill, and it's not hard to see why.
He's amazing, honestly. I mean, anybody who has an animal knows the human-animal bond and what they do for you, just for your, your emotional support and, the unconditional love.
Boomer may be cute, but he has a naughty side. McSally says he has a habit of burying clothes in the yard.
My mom was visiting and we had her pajamas disappear, and then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, we find tops, bottoms, and socks all rolled up together behind the mesquite tree. A little piece of pink was sticking out, and Boomer decided to unearth it.
But McSally says she is able to forgive these shenanigans out of love for her special companion.
I'm just grateful to have Boomer in my life. Those of us who have rescues always say who rescued who, right? And I mean, he is such an important part of my life. I just love him so much.
The cutest pets on Capitol Hill contest featured 3 categories: dogs, cats, even a hedgehog, with a total of 22 pets in the running through last weekend. In Washington, Trevor Fay, Cronkite News.
The winners will be announced during Pet Night on Capitol Hill this Wednesday.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.